Last week, the 49ers wrapped up the NFC Western title with a convincing thrashing of the Raiders, while the world champions from Kansas City got hit by lightning down in San Diego.
In San Diego Stadium, solemn gunfire appropriately marked the season's finale. The reeling Chargers had already clinched their first losing season since 1962. But Gary Garrison's performance had been championship all the way. The Ghost still has a chance for a 1,000-yard season. The Kansas City Chiefs were unsure of their role. As the game began, they were still the Super Chiefs, and a Miami defeat would open the door to a playoff berth. Lynn Dawson went after it with a 61-yard shot to number 30, Gloucester Richardson. But then the Dolphins' East Coast victory was confirmed, and the Super Chiefs no longer were. San Diego picked up on the cue, and number 21, John Hadel, remembered the good old days when Kansas City was his favorite whipping post. Hadel was teeming with an entire season of frustration, and now his therapy began with 2 short pitches to number 83, Willie Frazier. While Frazier supplied finely edged finishing touches, the Ghost gobbled up huge portions of middle ground. Garrison plumbed the depths of the excellent Kansas City secondary and measured up to his goal as he finished the season with exactly 1,006 yards. By this time, Kansas City was finished, but Hadel was just getting started on 1971. A familiar little man in an unfamiliar role dealt the Chiefs their death blows. It was ex-mini back Mike Garrett, and he brought his former teammates to their knees with 2 second-half touchdowns. A year ago, Garrett's jubilation had signaled a Kansas City Super Bowl victory. Now it marked the ironic ending point of a one-year Kansas City championship reign as San Diego humbled the Chiefs with a smashing 31-13 victory.
In Oakland, fans paid pregame homage to the unlikely hero of an improbable season. George Blanda, middle-aged America's patron saint, had routinely pulled off miracles, and his team had already clinched a playoff berth. And now they had to settle the Battle of the Bay. It looks as though Blanda might not be needed at all when Darryl LaMonica, number 3, took after San Francisco in typical Raider style. Number 87, rookie sensation Raymond Chester strolled in to give Oakland a quick lead. Then the Raider defense took to task that prolific 49er battery. John Brody to Gene Washington. San Francisco's entire season was at stake, but Brody spent most of the confused early going in close examination of the Oakland Coliseum turf. The first quarter was Oakland's, and soon they were driving for another score. Number 25, Rosie Taylor, accepted the 49er good fortune, and suddenly even the proven points of the Oakland attack began to misfire. Proven points like the bomb to number 81, Warren Wells. Everyone had trouble staying upright, but Bruce Taylor's interception picked up the faint San Francisco pulse, and Brody suddenly remembered that he was the NFC's leading passer. He lofted a neat floater to number 82, Ted Kwolek, and the team, which had quietly folded away so often in the past, began to pick up steam. And now LaMonica could not even be sure of a sure thing. His pass started out in the hands of Chester and ended up in the possession of number 37, Jimmy Johnson. Brody now knows that Gene Washington cannot be stopped by any secondary for an entire game. Washington had only 2 receptions for the day, but one was for 34 yards and 6 points. In a sudden 6-minute stretch, the 49ers had sprinted to a 17-point lead, and Raider fans figured it was high time to let George do it. On 4 consecutive completions into 49er territory, George did it. But on the 5th, it undid him. Number 64, Dave Wilcox, saves San Francisco from another miracle, and Blanda returned to the ranks of mortality. Exit LaMonica, exit Blanda, enter the Snake. But rookie Ken Snake Stabler found that the goal-rushing 49ers were not to be denied. They forced Stabler into the 9th Raider turnover, and after a quarter-century of bitter disappointment, San Francisco had its first divisional title. The joy was brief. Dick Nolan must test his title against the Vikings up in Minnesota. The 38-7 defeat left Oakland's fortunes drooping. But the Raiders have a week to get themselves back together for the playoffs, and who knows, perhaps another Battle of the Bay will take place next month in Miami.